Hey, good morning. Welcome to Statistics. So let me just try to get a little bit of feedback or a little bit of guidance to people that are having a little bit of trouble. What you want to do, okay, at the beginning of this thing, you want to go to your shell in the bright space, okay, go to the coursework, okay, that's where I find all of this stuff, all right, and then you want to find where it says Alex Materials, okay, so it's coursework, Alex Materials. Actually, it'll be on the front page as well for your bright space shell. Go ahead and hit this thing, and that'll open up. Okay, it might take a little bit of time. Do this, and this is my view. This is not going to be your view, but this is my view. I'm going to go ahead and change this to my class administration student view. This is what you guys will see. Okay, enter student view. So close window, enter student view. Great. All right. And again, it'll take a little bit of time. And this is the kind of thing you guys are going to be seeing. So one of the things that we're going to have to do, okay, if you haven't done this, please do this. Start the knowledge check. It should take you about an hour. And Alex is very, very proud of the fact that they do this. So there's no way for me to turn this off. You're pretty much stuck with it. It does not impact your final grade whatsoever. So start the knowledge check. It'll bring you through a bunch of stuff where it gets you used to the computer, gets you used to the software, and then go through and do a lot of what's going on here. Okay, so do that. Okay, make sure that you've gotten through that. Okay, and then it'll have a whole bunch of pie detail type of things, but like what things can we do? And they let you pretty much guide your own, write your own adventure path here. Okay, and you can pretty much go through all of the different pieces that you have to go through. Okay, so over on the side here, it's got all the different pieces. You can do them in any order you feel like you want to do them. Okay, so that's fine. Um, okay, so I would probably order this by things like Quiz 2 Prep because that's coming up on Sunday. Okay, but jump into something that you want to do, like jump into chapter 7.1. Okay, jump into something earlier. They'll all be here. Okay, you might have to peck around a little bit to find out exactly which ones we want. Okay, I think go to timeline. That's probably not going to help. Okay, let's see. We'll go back to Aleks Pie, and then they'll just have different pieces that you can do here. But pick one of these. Okay. Okay. Notice that final submissions are going to be December 8th. That's the last day of the semester. Yeah, I can't help you past that. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and start working on these as you see fit. Okay, start with the lower numbers. 7.1 is probably easier than 7.2, but I'll tell you what, chapter 7 has very little to do with chapter 6. Chapter 8 has a little to do with chapter 7, but you could probably jump into chapter 8.1 and start it. Okay, chapter 6 has very little to do with chapter 5. So it's not like you have to finish chapter 1 before chapter 2 makes sense. It doesn't work that way in stats. Each of the topics are pretty distinct from each other. Okay, if like I'll start with chapter 7 because that's a good place for me to tell you to start. Okay, say I have no idea what to do with any of this. All right, we're going to go back to Aleks. We're going to go back to the bright space for just a second here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our thing here. We're going to go back to coursework, content. Okay, and then here there are, and I should have been better about providing these things, so that is on me. But and if you have one like, hey, I really need to see more of chapter 7 videos. I really need to see more of chapter 5 videos. I need to see more of chapter 8 videos. I'll get to this soon. But if you type in like, okay, let me look at chapter 7, chapter 5. What I do with all of these problems for you is I literally walk you through the homework and show you what I'm doing with each homework problem with the calculator. So if it helps you to simply just watch my video as you're doing your homework, because like you have somebody talking to you as you're doing your homework, that's fine. I would urge you to try some by yourself. Okay. In a lot of the videos I talk to you guys about this, like watching me do it is one thing. I have a friend who can do a cartwheel on a balance beam. If I tried, you guys would all pay good money to watch me break my neck. Okay. You have to do this on your own. It has to come out of your pencil. It has to come out of your calculator. Okay, so I urge you, try this on your own. But if you're just like, oh God, I got to get this done yesterday, watch the videos. And I go through a lot of the problems. Okay, you can see this, almost a lot of the problems here. Okay, I didn't get to all of them, but I got through a lot of them. And if I, missed a few here and there, okay, one, you could drop me a note and say, hey, could you please put up, I'm having a real hard time with number 8. I don't know if there is a number 8. I really need to see number 8 for me to do this. And I'll be happy to show this video, okay? But to be doing well with quizzes, to be doing well with tests, it really has to come out of your pencil to do this, okay? So that's what we're doing with this. All right. So going back to the Aleks, okay, we're the student viewer sitting over here. Again, we have quiz 2 is coming up. Quiz 2 prep, what I did, and I apologize for this, but there's not a lot I could do with this. The interface that lets me build a quiz and the interface that lets me build a homework are 2 different databases. Okay, it's just the way the software works. There's nothing I can do about any of that. Okay, so they are 2 different databases. So the way that they pick problems is pretty much 2 different interfaces. But what I could do was narrow down my criteria of like which questions would I want to pick. I picked the questions that look a lot like the quiz questions. Okay, they're not going to be exact, but they are very close to what's going on there. So go through the quiz prep. You can do this as many times as you want. Okay, the quiz is going to be over chapter 6 stuff. You're going to see that. So I would go back to, back over here, go back to, chapter 6 videos and just have a look at those and see what's going on with that. There's very few formulas you're going to have to memorize. Okay, 6.1, 6.2, expected value. This is a big one. Okay, I really like expected value problems. So take a look at these. I did not ask you any standard deviation problems. Okay, I found that the calculator instructions they felt off for me when I did this, so I would not do any calculator. I would try to stay away from any problems that made you figure out standard deviation. But expected value and probability questions, those I asked. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. So just to give you an idea of what that's going to look like. So I go back to here. Yeah, I don't know how much of it I could do, but we'll go ahead and say this. Hey, look at that. 1 of unlimited attempts. Start. Okay. And then they just give you some probabilities and start asking you some questions. And the hardest part of all of this is figuring out the English. What does no less than 4 mean? Okay. And I always think when I do this as a, in a face-to-face class, I talk to the students and we talk about, like, think if you had to explain this to your child. If I tell you, you may have no less than 4 vegetables on your plate, and the child says, I would like peas. I'm like, well, that number is less than 4. Okay. So it says no less than 4. I'm looking at, well, I think 5 is the answer here. Okay. No less than 4 would be 5. Okay. And we're going to type those numbers in. Okay. We're going to say, oh, this is 0.10. Okay, don't tell me I'm wrong. Okay, and then we could change our reasoning because you have unlimited attempts. So if you mess this up, this is the place to mess it up. Okay, practice until you feel like I feel strong. Okay, practice until you get to that spot. Less than 2. Okay, what numbers are less than 2? Well, 0 is less than 2. 1 is less than 2. Is 2 less than 2? I don't think 2 is less than 2. If I say to a child, like, you may pick out less than 2 toys we could buy at the store. Say, I don't want anything. Like, okay, that works. I want 1 toy. Okay, I said less than 2. That's 1 is less than 2. I want 2 toys. I'm like, no. I said less than 2. I want 5 toys. I'm like, no, that's less than 2. So I would just add this up. I would say, okay, well, what's 13 cents and 22 cents? Don't let the decimals intimidate you. These are just pennies. Okay, so we're going to say, okay, well, that's 30, and then 3 and 2 makes 5, so that's 35 cents. We have 0.35. Do you have to put the leading 0 in? No, I do it because a lot of the students are nursing students. They will get irate if you don't put the leading zero in. Their nursing students and nursing teachers get very upset with you without leading zeros. So let's try to model good behavior, and we'll check and then say, oh, look at that. I did get them both right. Okay. Oh, no, let's just try again. Okay. Didn't like it. Your answer is incorrect. So no less than 4. Maybe it's point, maybe it's 4 and 5. Okay, so again, the English is going to be the thing that's really going to kill us on a lot of this. Okay, so let's retry this thing. So do this until you feel like, okay, how about 24.024? Okay, we check. Okay, oh, look at that. I got a green flag. It's correct. Okay, they met no less than 4 would be 4 or 5. Okay, so translating the English into math is going to be this thing that's going to be tough. Okay, and then we'll go on. Okay, and then we'll go through and do this as well. Okay, this is an expected value problem. I have plenty of videos to show you how to do that, so I'll let that handle itself. Okay, and we're just going to keep going until we get through all 12 of these. If you feel like, I don't feel it. Is there a list of formulas in here? I don't think I gave you the formulas on the test. I think I let that go. Yeah, I did not. Okay, so you have to memorize the expected value formula. That's really the only formula you have to memorize. Not a big fan of having you memorize a lot of formulas, but that's what you want to do this, okay? Once you are ready, because I think there are two attempts on the quiz, I cannot change that. So when you do the quiz, you're going to go to the quiz and you're going to go ahead and start that thing. It's going to make you go through you're going to have to set up Lockdown Browser. I think it should bring it up automatically because it should be done within the program. Okay, I don't want to mess with that because eventually it'll lock me out too because I have to set it. I'd have to change it for everybody, or at least I'd have to change it for me, which involves another maze of software selections to redo this thing. So I don't want to go through the quiz and show you that one. But it should launch the Lockdown Browser from within your Aleks format. If you have trouble with this, 1, make sure you're using Firefox. 2, make sure you're using Chrome. Okay, Firefox or Chrome. Chrome is actually better than Firefox for this. It's just a thing that they do. If that doesn't work, maybe you're using a school computer from high school. At our library, at the CNM library, so you might have to schedule a time. You might have to schedule a trip for this. You can use the computers in the library. They should be set up for us to be able to do this. Okay. If you don't have a calculator, so you have to use a calculator to do this. You don't have to be a fancy calculator. Okay. The fanciest you can have is TI 8384. Some people have asked about TI Inspire. I don't have an issue with that. You may use an Inspire, but that's a lot of calculator for this class. Okay. But I didn't ask anything that was going to be on this test, that anything that's going to require you to do something like a TA83 or an 84. You could probably use a calculator that you got out of a box of Cracker Jacks. They used to have prizes at a snack called Cracker Jacks for the people who were very young. By very young, I mean like under 40. Okay. So that's what we could do. So you can go to the library, you can check out a calculator. They'll let you do that for 3 hours. So that might be like do this quiz, right, until you're happy with it. Okay. And in the quiz, like you can use Excel. That's okay. They're not going to stop you from doing that. Respondus will. Okay, Respondus will lock down your computer and not let you open up any other windows. But you can use Excel. You can use the calculator that comes with the Windows app and use that. You could use an app on your phone. That's fine. You do the calculator. None of them are very difficult, but you should get used to the process of checking out TI 8384 so that you can know where that is and get used to where the buttons are. Okay, I have an app on my computer that lets me use this thing. When you watch the videos, you'll see like, oh, what buttons are you pressing? Should be the same ones for you guys. Okay, because I got out a calculator and brought it home and said, okay, well, does this work? Like, sure does. Exactly the same way. So except we're just pressing them with our fingers rather than our mouse. But that's what it is. So go through and do your Aleks quiz, your prep. Again, question 1, attempt 1 of unlimited, and just redo it and then submit assignment. And then I didn't have this listed as like a homework question, so it'll probably be something I put in there for just, okay, we'll do that. Um, and then you go back and again, student view, which is already, I'm already in student view now. But yeah, but go through and do, this is my other student view, knowledge check. Make sure you do your knowledge check. Again, it'll take about an hour. You are not being graded on the knowledge check. If you type in, I don't know, for a lot of these, it's going to hurt you in a way where they're going to select questions that's going to bring you back up to par. So the rest of your homework is going to take longer if you sandbag your knowledge check. So do as well as you can, but don't stress over it. It takes about an hour. If it's taking you more than an hour, either one, be a little bit more liberal and stuff that you're like, okay, I'm okay with getting the wrong answer on that one, and then decide that, well, they could select from a different card, they could select from a different deck. That's okay. But if it takes you longer than an hour, you're doing something wrong with this. Okay, you should be more accepting of answers that are not going to be right. Okay, you don't have to double, triple, quadruple check everything on an assignment that is not going to count for your grade. Okay. Once you are done, I know it says past due. Look at what this says. Final submission date. That is the last day of the semester. I am in the process because I got to do this for each and every assignment. Okay. So trying to do December 9th, 11:59 p.m. If you see weird dates on this, like 11:57, that's because the only way I could sort assignments is by these times. So that's why the times are there. So it shouldn't, those 3 minutes shouldn't matter. Okay. Those 2 minutes shouldn't matter. But we'll try to change all of these so they're all December 9th, 11:59 p.m. Okay. And then even if I don't, like I still will say accept late assignment and do what you can with that. Okay. So we'll do as much as you can with the homework because that's going to count for a bit of your grade. And then when you're ready to take this quiz, you've gone through this quiz 2 prep, and when you're ready, go ahead, schedule yourself about an hour. It should be, you can schedule yourself 2 hours, put the kids to bed. Okay. Make sure the dogs are walked, all of that stuff. Fire up the thing. Go ahead and click this thing, and you're gonna have it's gonna lock your computer down. So make sure you're not in the middle of a Facebook argument with somebody, and then just go through and work on it. Okay, and it's going to be exactly this. I fished these questions right out of doing Aleks, so having a piece of scrap paper and a calculator is really important. But you do not need to submit this. Okay, that got in the way of a lot of things. You don't need to go somewhere else. Just on Sunday about 5 o'clock, just like, okay, I got to take this thing. I'm ready. Go ahead and fire this up, and then go ahead and get this thing started. Okay. So that's how you're going to do this. That's how you're going to get through this. And there's going to be another one next week. Guess what that's going to be on? That's going to be on 6.2. And there's going to be another homework or quiz 3 prep. It'll cover 6.3. And then the week after that, I'm sorry for Thanksgiving, it'll be chapter 7.1. Okay. And I'll try to fit in a quiz per week for the rest of the semester so that I've got something to grade you guys on. But do your best to get through your questions. But if you're stuck with them and you're having trouble, you could always come back over to your Brightspace, click one of these. This is pre-calc. You guys don't want that. Click one of your sections that you're working on. Click on that one, and see how far we can get. Okay. So I tried to do a lot of these. Not all of them are done, but if I know somebody's going to watch them, it's easier to make them. Okay. So I look at my little channel here and I can see like all of them are studio here. They're all like 0 views, 1 view. So if people are watching them, it's easier to motivate me to make them. Please don't watch the pre-calc ones. Okay, that's not worth your time. Okay, but the stats ones, those are like on the next page. But I do post them to your Brightspace ones so you guys have access to them. Okay, let me walk you through your homework and do as well as you can and get as much as you've done with this. Okay, I've probably rambled on long enough. So if you watch this, thank you. If you stuck with me so far, God bless you. But I really do go through the quiz, the problems here, and not here. Go through the problems here, and then I really will walk you through each and every one of your homework problems. Okay, try them by yourself, right? As well. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but once we've done that, you should be good to go. Okay, so thank you. If you guys need more questions, anything, please ask me. I'm dying here for questions from you. Okay, and I'll see you in the next video.